What about the healing? All right. So, we're gonna get into it. We talking about shadow work, right? So, this your and to reiterate, shadow work, shadow is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But when we look at it and we talk about shadow, you got light and you got dark. And dark is always associated with shadow. But we need light and dark. Without the light, without the with if you only just had light, it's not balanced. It's too much. If you just have dark, it's too much. So you have to have them both. You have to have light and you have to have dark. But the thing about it, you have to know how to balance them. Balance them out. You can't just stay in your light and just stay in your light and just stay in your light. And then you get pushed to the limit and it's like, oh wow, you just fly off the handle, like, and that's because you're not allowing your dark side, your shadow side to come out in those times to balance out that light. And you're not letting it come out in those times to balance everything. So you just holding on to the light and you just letting things go and you just letting things go and you just letting things go. But it is a time for everything. It's a time for the light. It's a time for the dark. And when things happen that warrants your shadow side to come out, I know for me, you don't want my shadow side to come out. It's like, but it wouldn't be like that if, I've learned that I used to be like that. I used to be where I did not allow my shadow side to come out unless I was just pushed to the limit. When I pushed to the limit, I'm just, had enough. Then all of a sudden, everybody getting ready to get the shadow. Once and then once it's there, it's like boop, bop, bam. I cut you up. I cut the situation up. If you say anything, it's just gonna make it worse. And once I'm done though, I don't hold on to a grudge. I don't do all that. But I've learned not to do that. So it's like, yeah, but then if it comes to a situation that I need to nip in the bud, I nip it in the bud. Right then and there. I don't hold on to it. I don't let it go well. Oh, don't say nothing. Oh, I don't do that. If something needs to be addressed or something needs to be said, then I need to say it. And I need to say it right there and not sit there and seethe in it and have it keep going on. No, I need to say what I need to say, and then I need to be done with it. Because once I say what I have to say, the person that I am, once I say what I have to say, I'm done with it. I don't hold on to it. I made my decision. I said what I had to say, and that's that. And I could just move on. We don't even have to talk about it no more. It's done. So, shadow is dealing with your shadow is knowing how to balance those things out. Now, I'm not talking about you got a situation, and you just tear somebody's head off. You just rip you just from the rooter to the tooth. No, that's not what I'm talking about. See, I don't got to do all that. Even if I'm, even in the past, I don't have to do that. I don't have to tear your head off or whatever. I'm going to tell you how I feel about the situation. I'll say what I have to say. And it's my truth and how I see it. But it would have been things that I had held on to when I could have dealt with that situation long time ago, and we wouldn't be talking. They'd be like, well, why you bring that up? What, that was, oh, I did that. See, because it was never addressed. I just, waved it off, or just, but I felt some type of way about whatever that situation was, right? So that's what I mean by holding on. Deal with the thing right then. So whenever this situation comes, you ain't got to come back and pull all the stuff that you've been holding on to. You ain't got to pull all that in it. You can sit there and talk to this particular individual about this particular thing on this day. Right? We dealing with what we talking about today. We ain't talking about what you did, because I already addressed that. So this is what I'm talking about. Dealing with your shadow side. And balancing things out, that when you do operate in your shadow side, it's not what people want to hear. Shadow work is shadow side is shadow side, right? People don't want to deal with shadow, but some people are comfortable with shadow, comfortable with drama, comfortable in that type of energy. It depends on who you are. The shadow attribute is advocate. Okay. And it says, as a shadow, it says embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. So first thing I see off here is negativity. Embracing negativity. So I'm talking to people that conjure up a lot of negative energy by gossiping, talking about people, running people down. And in this interim of them doing that, it makes them feel better. It makes them feel better about their position. And the root of the matter of this is insecure. Being insecure about something that you see about yourself that you do not value, you don't see any value, and you want to make somebody else look bad because you see that this person has something of value in them, or you don't have what you see that another person has of value. But all of us, every last human being on this earth has something of value within them. But 9 times out of 10, you don't want to see it, or you don't see the value in what God gave you, or what you accepted from God. You're looking at other people. You're looking at what other people have, what they have, and you see value in that versus what God gave you that is valuable. So you downplay your own abilities. You downplay your own self-worth and your own value based off what you see in another individual. No, ma'am, no, sir. You have value just like anybody else. Your responsibility is to look within yourself and see that value. But you're too focused on looking at another individual and what they have, what you think they have of value. It's all a perception. Because just like you look at them and see value, you can look at yourself and make it up in your mind that you have something of value just as good as anybody else. But you can't, because you have to accept it. You have to look at yourself and accept what it is that you have inside of you. And you have to own it. And you have to look at it with from a valuable perspective. You can't place your eyes, your nose, your ears, and all of your senses. You can't place that on another individual. You got to place it on yourself. Part of healing is knowing yourself. Part of healing is acknowledging who you are. Part of healing is looking at those areas that you just do not like about yourself. Looking at those areas and accepting that this is who you are. It is so many people on this earth that is not what society says is beautiful. It's not what society says a body is supposed to look like. What society says is pretty in a pretty face. What society said is pretty hair. But these people have made it up in their mind that regardless what society say, I know that I look good. I know that my body is just as good as anybody else's body. Who is society to dictate to me what's beautiful? I am beautiful because I say so. I say so. I say that I'm beautiful. I believe that I'm beautiful. I know that I'm beautiful. Mind, body, soul, spirit. Right? Just embracing negativity about yourself. And then giving yourself cause, just cause, to be destructive to your body. Giving yourself just cause to be destructive to other people because of how you feel about yourself. Giving yourself just cause to run people down, to talk about people, because how you feel about yourself, but also how doing those things will make you feel good about yourself, make you feel better about yourself, will give you personal gain. It will give you personal gain to feel when you downgrade and talk about and abuse and cause trauma and to other folks, other people. It elevates you. It makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel like you are better than that person.